Now, at the heart of the Mahler cycle with the Philharmonia Orchestra is his body of symphonic works. You're going to be performing all 9.5 symphonies during this particular project. Another famous quote about Mahler is about the symphony, where he famously remarked to Sibelius that a symphony must be like the world. It must contain everything. And I wondered if you thought that that statement embodies Mahler's approach to music.
I certainly think so, but he was not afraid of the specific. He would not shy away from a very specific reference and could be very lighthearted or dramatic or melancholy or whatever. There is a rational approach to writing music, of which he was really a master. He was a well-trained musician, just technically, and an interpreter and a conductor, an organizer of people in music, an organizer of music and people. And he brought all of this experience to the writing of music. And his compositions are very rational and very logical.
There can't be many composers who've managed to get so much music into their symphonies. The first four, all influenced by a certain collection of German folk poetry. Let's look at number 1 to begin with. Was this a very original debut, do you think?
There was certainly nothing at the time that began as the first bar of the first symphony begins. I mean, just unheard of. An eerie evocation of some nether world. And by that time, he was already, I believe, well into his mature years, and you hear it there. The use of the Frère Jacques theme in the slow movement is charming. It really is charming, and this apocalyptic quality of the last movement. You know, he's already shaking his fist at the cosmos, very much as Beethoven was wont to do.
The premiere of Mahler's Second Symphony was a huge success at its premiere, and really the first big success that Mahler had as a composer. Now, this is a symphony which calls for a vast orchestra, doesn't it? Because it's got such a grand theme.
Well, it is an incredibly vast canvas. Everything's in it that you could possibly want to have in a symphony. There's terror, and there's love, and a growing tension, and an incredibly forceful statement at the end of the symphony is as strong in its own way as the Ninth Symphony, the last movement of the Ninth Symphony of Beethoven. One can liken Mahler's symphonies, or some of them, to spaceships that have been launched and will forever stay in orbit, sending out signals in all directions. Amazingly cosmic, his music. But his feet were on the ground, which makes the result all the more staggering.
One of Mahler's big passions in life was spending time in the countryside. You've mentioned the pavilion where he'd spend his summer months looking out of the window at the butterflies and the flowers in the meadow and be inspired to write music. Never more so, really, than in Symphony Nr.4. Do you think this symphony is all about the majesty of nature for Mahler?
Yeah, the bucolic Mahler, instead of the volcanic Mahler. Right, very much like the Pastoral Symphony of Beethoven. There is a great similarity there. And I just love this third because it floats. It doesn't meander. It's a feeling like a stream that just flows and has power and direction and depth and charm.
Symphony Nr.4 in the Mahler cycle is going to sit alongside Rückert Lieder, some songs very close to Mahler's heart. Why do you think those two can be paired together? Why do they work well together?
Mahler in the Fourth Symphony is, I think, at his most at ease feeling. He's at ease with himself and the world around him. He's at peace. And I think he allowed then his feeling for the beauty and subtlety of a certain word juxtaposition to speak to him. And I think that's perhaps why of all the texts he set, the music, the Fourth Symphony and the Rückert Lieder were perhaps the most poignant, most delicate and the most charming.
5, 6, and 7 saw Mahler returning to purely instrumental symphonies, but 3 very different approaches, do you think?
Yes, very different. The 6th is a sort of melancholy work, and the 7th, if I can use a general term, is considerably more provocative and angry. He was beginning to develop a kind of anger. The 7th is kind of frightening. And of course the 9th, that's terrifying. And what the last page of the 9th Symphony, last 5 minutes, 1 page of music. Each note is like a quarter of a minute. It's terrifying. I mean, it's just a total unraveling of life. That he was able to come out of that and then start with the first movement of the 10th. These beautiful tune given to the violas, a whole section. He thought it was all over, but it wasn't all over. He was still alive. And there's this astonishment that you hear in the opening notes of the 10th. I'm still at it. You know, where would he have gone? Did he not have this infection of the lining of the heart? My goodness. More conjecture. One doesn't know. But what an amazing man. What a loss that he died so young. And how grateful we are that he existed and brought a visionary element to music that no other composer has ever succeeded in doing.